Well. Good evening, everybody. So, we're coming to you with the React video after the Thursday night game. So, a lot of you stayed up late, like I did, to watch a little Ravens football. And the Ravens were successful tonight. Bittersweet in some areas. We'll get to that. But the success for the Ravens tonight, finally, you see it there 34-20 over Cincinnati. That makes two on the season against the Bengals. So this pretty much, I think that's pretty much it for the Bengals. We'll see as far as winning the division. I don't think there's very little chance that the Ravens finish behind Cincinnati at this point. With two wins and being at the 8-win mark, where Cincinnati is at 5. I really think that's pretty much it for the Bengals as far as that goes. A lot happened tonight in this one. Bad news, unfortunately. We'll get right to it. Mark Andrews, the Ravens All-Pro tight end, looked like Schefter was talking about a season-ending injury for him. We do not know yet. Obviously, we will see. But I'm thinking about that whole last part of the game where Lamar knew it right away. He looked at it. I could tell by the way he threw that helmet down. This is a guy he's played with, both rookies together, Mark Andrews. So no more. It doesn't look like it so far that they're going to have Mark Andrews the whole rest of the year in that. So bad losing. Look, we talk a lot about the wide receivers. This is your guy here. This is the best guy to have at the tight end position. I would say this too. Andrews has kind of looked banged up all year. He's been kind of putting it together, getting on the field, but he's been not looking like him. I mean, still productive. I'm not even talking about the production aspect of it, but all year long, kind of not what we're used to seeing. So, in that sense, so no Mark Andrews in that as far as that goes. What about the game? Uh, what about the game? Ravens win 34-20. I thought tonight they pretty much had this one in hand for a lot of this game. I thought the defense. Look, this defense is sensational. Um, I know T. Higgins didn't play, and there was an injury on the other side. We'll get to that as well. But this defense is sensational. I am so impressed with Brandon Stevens every time I see him. Brandon Stevens is, I don't understand if there's the Pro Bowl voting or whatever. There was no Marlon Humphrey tonight, and Brandon Stevens was fantastic. So I really think Brandon Stevens really is having a great season for the Baltimore Ravens. Fantastic stuff tonight for Brandon Stevens. Even like without Humphrey in there, Darby and the defense. I mean, looked really good. I thought defense again tonight, 5 sacks. Good work by the defense as a whole. Matabuke, Travis Jones, uh, their front seven, as usual, great stuff from Roquan Smith. This defense is fantastic. I haven't seen really good, even tonight, with I think the best receiver in the NFL on the other side, Jamar Chase. Not a lot happening. They're covering. They're doing excellent man coverage. I haven't seen anything like that. So let's shout out the defense first. Usually on the podcast in general, I usually talk more offense first and then get to the defense. But the defense was fantastic, I think, and has been all year long. Joe Burrow was knocked out of this game. Uh, I don't know how serious this is. Now I have not still keeping an eye on that. I like unlike Andrews, where I know it's pretty much season ending. But Burrow's been banged up from minute one this year. He hasn't looked himself again. He started to come around, but you wonder if the losses keep piling up. They have some tough games coming. How much longer they're going to even bother trying to put Joe Burrow out there in this one? So we'll see how that goes for the Bengals. That's big. Not having Joe Burrow. Back to the Ravens. Lamar, he was banged up a little bit in this game. Looks like every time on the sidelines, he was twisted, he was hurting, his ankle was wrapped. He was kind of working, playing through it. Kind of even after he kind of limped down and got back up limping. Next play late in the game, he goes and runs for the first down. So this guy's a gamer, Lamar. Um, Excellent stuff by him tonight. I honestly believe um, I saw what I said this week on the podcast on the regular podcast that premiered earlier tonight that the Ravens that the Bengals secondary wasn't any good and it wasn't any good. Their secondary just they don't have they couldn't match up with the Ravens wide receivers. I think Lamar honestly had he been a little bit more accurate with the deep ball, it'd have been worse than what we saw. But they didn't need it. I thought Beckham, this was easily his best game. I didn't think Beckham was washed. I didn't think the stats were there, but watching him, Beckham, I think still has a little left. And obviously, people are going to pretend like they all had it tonight and do it. But Beckham, I thought was really good tonight. Zay Flowers, I thought was good. I thought all the receivers. This was the best game I thought by the receivers collectively. When you talk about Odell Beckham and Zay Flowers and Rashad Bateman, I thought this was their best collective effort by the receivers. So good job by the receivers, I think, as a whole tonight. Is that now you did lose you did lose Mark Andrews. So what does that mean? Isaiah Likely is going to have to play the rest of the way. I, Isaiah Likely, I think this is a good player here. I think this is why you go in the draft and do those things. Isaiah Likely has played fairly well without Mark Andrews on the field. Now, he's not Mark Andrews by any stretch, but we're going to see how this goes as they get into close games and they use him in the goal line in difficult situations. So we will see how that goes. Offensive line, it's good at times. Lamar had time to throw at times. I thought it was good considering. I thought it was good considering. I think I'll just leave it right there. I thought the offensive line was good considering. Patrick McCarry, they're lucky to have him. I mean, they had to use him. Moses has missed games. Ronnie Stanley keeps missing games. So they've obviously been lucky to have him. I guess I think as the season goes, John Simpson's struggling more. I think like he's I thought the start of him was decent enough. As the season goes, I think he's struggling to me a bit more. The right side is fine. I think Zeitler and Morgan Moses, as long as he's healthy, is really good. Linderbaum, I think, is solid. I think the left side not quite as strong. I'm seeing too many hits on Lamar, in my opinion. I think Lamar is getting hit a little bit too much to my liking. But I thought the offensive line it could do a little bit better. I do think that in the offseason, you're going to see something with the offensive line on that left side. With all the injuries that Ronnie Stanley is having, John Simpson, I think, kind of not quite as good towards the finish. We will see how they do in the offseason as far as that goes. Lamar, he's still getting hit a lot. He's still getting hit a blitz. At times, he'll have plenty of time to throw, and at other times, not so much. So it's a little bit inconsistency, I think, from the line. But overall, I think this was a good night for the Ravens as far as getting the victory. We did get the bad news about Mark Andrews being injured now for the entirety of the season, according to Adam Schefter online. We will find out for that sure tomorrow. I'm sure on Monday at least we will find out about the rest of the year about that. But there is the score, Raven fans, Oriole fans, 34-20. The Ravens actually go ahead and win. So that is their 8th victory of the year. Next week against the San Diego, I knew I was going to do it. The Los Angeles Chargers, no longer San Diego Chargers. Real quick on the Bengals before I was about to, but real quick on the Bengals. Bengals, they're going to have some issues. I'm not as sure of the Burrow injury yet. I think if he misses significant time, even if he doesn't, they have some issues. This defense is not good enough maybe to get them to the playoffs. Their secondary, I saw it tonight, really struggles to do anything. Logan Wilson is having a subpar season for them. They really need him on the back end. They're getting some push up front. I think they've had some injuries there. They did have, I think, one of the D tackles hurt in this one, so they're having some defensive issues. Burrow is hurt. We'll see if they can get in the playoffs. I think it'll be a struggle for them to go ahead and get in. But the Ravens definitely lurking towards now getting the best record in the AFC. So let's go ahead and get that taken care of. Thank you for joining us this week on our Ravery Sports Instant Reaction podcast. We will see you for our next podcast on Wednesday. So thank you very much for joining us. Enjoy all the games. You have a great rest of your day.